Good morning, ladies. So today our learning target is I can determine the theme of a passage by evaluating the actions of characters. So our passage today is Helping in Haiti. And again, you can see that this is a ReadWorks article. So this assignment should be submitted electronically as well. All right, let's take a peek. Helping in Haiti. Conrad clutched the armrests on either side of him as the plane started to back up out of the gate. Elena noticed his white knuckles gripping the narrow metal bars. The two had just met moments before, introducing themselves after Conrad squeezed by Elena and settled into the window seat beside her. "Is this your first time on a plane?" she asked. He turned to look at her. "Actually, it's my first time out of the country," he replied quietly. "Oh, wow, this is great. This is a great first trip," she assured him. "And don't worry, it's a short flight." She noticed the color return to his knuckles. Conrad took a deep breath and closed his eyes, attempting to relax for the next 2 hours in the air. Conrad awoke as they arrived, jolted out of his sleep by the bumpy landing. He peered out of the window. Palm trees lined the runway as far as he could see. Lush vegetation filled the surrounding fields. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Haiti. We hope you enjoyed your flight," the flight attendant said over the loudspeaker. Elena nudged Conrad with her shoulder. "We made it," she said with a bright smile. Once the two reached the gate, they looked for others who were wearing the same t-shirts they had on, red, with the Habitat for Humanity logo on the front. Since the airport was small, it didn't take very long at all to spot the small group that assembled in one corner. All right, gather around, everyone," one man yelled. About 10 people gathered around him, all of different ages. Conrad noticed a mother and father with their teenage kid, a few young couples, and the rest individuals like him. Conrad had just finished his last year of high school and thought the summer would be a good time to finally explore. He had grown up in a very small town in Ohio, so small that he knew everyone who went to his school, mostly because he grew up with them. Then, halfway through his senior year, he watched the news broadcast the devastation caused by an earthquake that hit Haiti. It was the beginning of 2010, and Conrad knew that he wanted to go there someday. Someday came sooner than expected, since his father met a woman involved with Habitat for Humanity, an organization that builds homes for people in need around the world. They were organizing a trip to Haiti in July and welcomed volunteers to join them in their project to start rebuilding a community in the capital city of Port-au-Prince. Conrad signed up with excitement, but his nerves soon kicked in. He thought about everything that could go wrong, his anxiety increasing day by day. But soon the day of his departure arrived. There was no turning back. So as he stepped out of the airport with his group leading the way, he took another deep breath and calmed the flurry in his stomach. The next day marked their first on the construction site. Despite waking up at 6 a.m., the hot sun greeted the crew as they walked out of their hotel. The neighborhood in which they were volunteering was a short 10-minute drive away, during which the group leader, Jason, briefed them on the day's activities. They would spend the morning laying cement foundations for the 5 houses they would be building, taking a break at noon, and then getting started on constructing the frames in the afternoon. But most of all, we want to get to know the community so that we can tailor to their needs, Jason said, finishing his short speech. As the bus skidded to a stop, Conrad looked out of the window and noticed a small group of people standing in the middle of a large plot of land. Jason jumped off and warmly greeted them, hugging each other like they were one of his old friends. He introduced everyone, explaining that these were the families who would eventually occupy the homes built by Habitat. Not knowing what to say, Conrad smiled at the group, receiving even wider smiles back. Shortly after meeting everyone, Conrad and the other volunteers got to work. They kept their conversations short, reserving their energy for the construction, and took several breaks to fight off dehydration. Just as Conrad went to pick up his water bottle, he noticed a little boy standing a few feet away, staring at him. Conrad smiled and waved. The little boy then raced up to him, holding out his hand. "I'm Gregory," he said. "I'm Conrad," Conrad replied. "It's very nice to meet you," Gregory said. "You speak English very well," Conrad noted. He wished he could speak Haitian Creole, one of the 2 official languages of the country, the other being French. He was so impressed by kids who learned these 3 languages from the time they were in elementary school. "I'm not so good, but I learn in school," Gregory explained. He pulled a pen out of his pocket and held it out in front of Conrad's chest, as high as he could reach. "Is this for me?" Conrad asked. Gregory nodded his head. "Thank you for building my home," Gregory said, and he then ran away giggling. Conrad smiled and placed the pen safely in his zipper pocket. He immediately set off to work, offering to carry all of the heavy loads, even working for the last half hour of his lunch break. At the end of the trip, Conrad made sure to visit Gregory one last time. Upon seeing Conrad, Gregory ran up to him and gave him a big hug. Conrad then pulled out his own pen from his pocket and gave it to the boy. "Use this to write to me, okay?" he said. He handed him an address and a bunch of stamps. "I'll make sure to write to you, too," Conrad added. Gregory thought that the pen and paper were even better gifts in the house. He wrote to Conrad at least once a month after he left. All right, ladies, so let's preview the questions before we go on to our close read. So number one, so this one we have all short response questions. So get rap on here, get it ready. All right. Where is Conrad going at the beginning of the story? Number two, the destruction of an earthquake is a problem for Haiti. What does Conrad do to help solve this problem? Number three, Conrad is nervous about traveling to Haiti. Support this statement with evidence from the story. Why does Conrad go to Haiti? Number five, what is the theme of the story? Number six, read these sentences from the story. Conrad signed up with excitement, but his nerves soon kicked in. He thought about everything that could go wrong, his anxiety increasing by the day by day. But soon the day of the departure arrived. There was no turning back. What does the phrase kicked in mean? Number seven, what word or phrase best completes this sentence? Some kids in Haiti learn 3 languages in elementary school: blank, English, French, and Haitian Creole. Number eight, what is Conrad building for Gregory? Number nine, how often does Gregory write to Conrad after Conrad leaves? And number 10, read the sentence from the story. Gregory thought the pen and paper were even better gifts in the house. Why might Gregory think that the pen and paper are better gifts? All right, so what I want to do quickly is before we go up to our second read, I want to just revisit our learning target, okay? So I can determine the theme of a passage by evaluating the actions of characters. Okay, so our main characters here obviously are Conrad and Gregory. So when you're going through and doing your close read, maybe either in a different color or make a different mark and identify when those characters have action. So focus on their words and what they are doing. Okay, ladies, time to close read. This should look very familiar to you. You're chunking your text. You circle and attempt to define unknown words. You're underlining key information. Remember to focus on information that will help to support your answers because you've already previewed your questions. That's one of those strategies that we're working on, previewing the questions to focus our close read. You're summarizing in the margins and you're identifying any elements that may be helpful. Okay? All right, ladies. So what I want to talk about now is possible themes we're going to come back to in a minute. What I want to do is I want to show you my close reading marks so that you can kind of structure yours or compare yours against mine. So what I did first was I kind of broke down our learning target. So for our learning target, I can figure out the theme. Theme is our main point. So I did a little squiggly there by evaluating, meaning digging deeper into the actions of characters, and we're focusing on what they say and what they do. So we're going to come up to possible themes in a moment after we go over some notes. So again, we're focusing on those actions and words of character. So my first chunk here, my summary notes, I have Conrad is very nervous to fly, but is comforted by a fellow member of, and I have HFH here for Habitat for Humanity. What I also want to bring your attention to is I kind of did the same thing here. So clutched means squeeze, and then over here I have nervous behavior next to Conrad, so that I kind of have that for when I go back to the beginning of my questions, and I'm seeing that this behavior here of him clutching the armrest and gripping so his knuckles turn white show that this is very nervous behavior for him. And that does change towards the end of the story. So some other things here that I want to point out here is actually it's my first time coming out of the country. This is something that he said here. And again, I have a little different marks that you can see. And I said, maybe this is a reason why he's nervous. This is his first time out of the country and he's on a plane. So maybe that's why he's nervous. Then I also kind of go through and I do some defining of the words. I want to point out here, Haiti is a country in the Caribbean. So again, kind of falls along that equator line where we get some very, very warm tropical climate. But again, this is an earthquake. So remember about your knowledge from earthquakes from the beginning of the week. That again, that earthquake is kind of that shift in those tectonic plates and that movement there that can cause that major devastation. So also here too, Habitat for Humanity, which I kind of inferred after with my second read here, that they're a group that helps out with natural disasters. Okay, so here I also want to point out my summary notes for my next chunk that begin here at the bottom of this first page of the passage is that they meet up with other members in Haiti, and it's a very diverse group. He talks about all the different kind of people who attended with them. I also hear they gave us a little information about Conrad. They never actually say how old he is, but if he just finished his last year of high school, I'm inferring that he's around 18 years old. So then here I got cut off a little bit here, but that this might be his motivation. So this paragraph is extremely important. This is when he gets the newscast about the devastation caused by the earthquake that hit Haiti. So this is something that I definitely want to make sure that we are underlining, and because this is that key information. 2010, give us that time frame. Conrad knew that he wanted to go there someday. Okay, major detail here. So I have earthquake in Haiti in 2010. Habitat for Humanity went to capital to build homes. So they were organizing this trip to Haiti in July, and he just kind of happened to become part of that group. And it was something that he earlier said that it was something that he knew he wanted to do. So then kind of looking back down here, if you want to see, I also want you to point out that, yeah, Miss Eggink has really marked up her paper here, but I don't have everything underlined. Don't get too underline happy, okay? And I know that there might be some difficult vocabulary here, but I want you to focus on things that are extremely, extremely impressive. So anxiety here, this is like that nervousness, the construction site. This is the building that they're doing. Tailored to their needs. This means that they're meeting their needs. So Jason, the group leader, is very important that he is tailoring to the needs of the people who lost their homes. He's meeting those needs. They're laying that cement for those foundations, and then they're going to construct those frames. So my summary notes for this chunk here is Conrad started off very nervous before the trip. Once he learned Habitat for Humanity would be building 5 homes, and then they were able to meet the families. All right, so let's kind of scooch down here because now we're getting into that very important part that really supports our theme because Conrad meets Gregory, okay? And that relationship kind of changes things for him, right? He was very nervous. He's starting to get a little more comfortable after meeting the people, starting to get their plan. But once he meets Gregory, there's something in him that definitely changes, okay? So shortly after meeting everyone, they go to work, okay? They're reserving their energy for the construction, all right? They're keeping that energy. They're very hardworking. They making sure that they're fighting off dehydration. So again, Haiti, that country in the Caribbean, very hot. This is a hot climate. They're making sure that they're, you know, working very hard and that their bodies can handle it. Then he meets Gregory. Very important that this part is underlined and that is identified because it's a very, very powerful point. Okay, so it talks about how he was impressed. He pulled out a pen. They do a little pen exchange here, giving a little bit of a gift. So my notes here, Gregory gives Conrad a pen, and this motivates him even more to work hard. So I want to show you where I gathered this, okay? So after he thanks him for building his home, and then something happens with Conrad. So he smiled, he placed the pen safely in his zipper pocket, and immediately setting off to work, offering to carry the heavy loads, even working through the last hour of his lunch break. And do you see Miss Eggink's notes here? I have this action shows dedication. Okay, so he was so nervous, and now he's even working through his lunch break because of the impact that this little boy had when he met him. And then I kind of just want to talk. I have a lot underlined in this last chunk because there's a lot of very important things that happen. Okay, Conrad then gives his own pen to Gregory. He gives him stamps. He gives him his address. He really solidifies that connection that they've made. In my summary notes here on the side, Conrad gives pen, paper, and stamps to Gregory, who is very appreciative. And then I love that last question that you're going to be answering, number 10, about why you think Gregory says this last line. Gregory thought the pen and paper was even a better gift than the house. So this little boy lost his home, and the pen and paper and stamps that were given to him by Conrad, he liked better than his home. So I want you to even think about that. And then the action of him writing to Conrad at least once a month afterwards shows that deep relationship that they met. So again, our learning target, ladies, is that we are identifying and determining the theme by evaluating the actions of the characters. So again, we're really focusing here on Gregory and Conrad. So I'm going to just focus on some of the ones that I have circled here. So again, I know that I've said this in the last couple of videos, Miss Egging's answers are here. You are not just copying mine. Okay, you are evaluating yours based on mine. You're saying, oh, Miss Egging said it this way. Does mine still work? You're making sure that your details are relevant and supporting your claims. And you're also kind of comparing your effort against Miss Egging's. We are doing RAP for each of these. Okay, so take a look at some of my responses here. Again, you need to make sure that you're comparing against mine, not just copying. So for number 3, Conrad is nervous about traveling to Haiti. Support this statement with evidence from the story. So again, they give us our claim here, but what I did is I just kind of rewrote it in my own words. Okay, so I have Conrad shows that he's nervous in the passage, and then I give my 2 details that is really being asked by this question. The text states, Conrad signed up with excitement, but his nerves soon kicked in. Okay, that's my first detail to support that he's nervous. Then my second detail, he thought about everything that could go wrong, his anxiety increasing day by day. So again, anxiety and nervous, those are kind of synonyms, right? Very similar words. So I was able to pull those details right there. Okay, so why does Conrad want to go to Haiti? Conrad wants to go to Haiti to help the people affected by the earthquake. And then I have my 2 details here, but I want you to pay attention to my details. So my first detail is the text states Conrad knew that he wanted to go there someday in reference to Haiti, right? He actually says that. But then what I do is I kind of paraphrase my next detail here. It says in paragraph 4, we learned that Conrad was deeply impacted by the devastation news stories that he was hearing on TV. So what I kind of did was I just kind of summarized what was going on in paragraph 4 because I thought that was very important. So again, keep that in mind with your details. You can copy directly from the text or you can paraphrase. But again, I like that I identified where it was just to kind of give a little more of that mastery of this passage. And again, let's just talk about the theme of the story. But what I want to do is I want to show you what I did here up above. So I wrote possible themes. So again, before I even started my second read, I put possible themes with little squiggly up here to remind myself that there's a couple probably that I'm going to be able to choose from, but I also want to make sure that I'm evaluating that before I start my question. So the possible themes that I identified was it is better to give than to receive. The next one, lessons can be learned by helping others. And then the importance of helping others. Okay, so what I did was I kind of put a couple of them together. So let's take a look at my response. I'm sorry to go back through so quickly. It doesn't make anybody dizzy. What is the theme of the passage of the story? The theme of the story is that it is important to help others in their time of need. So what I did is just added a little Jenga to my very last one there. So then here you still have to support. I still want 2 pieces of evidence, but again, when you're talking about the theme, you can paraphrase, you can kind of combine things, you can give your own synopsis without just kind of spitting back details. So watch what I did here. So I have Conrad goes to Haiti to help others even though he was nervous. Okay, that shows that kind of dedication. It's important to help people in time of need, but he's putting his own feelings aside. Once he was there, he befriended many and helped build 5 homes. He even has a pen pal now. So again, none of these are direct quotes. None of my details are direct quotes. So what I did was I paraphrased and I'm showing that I really have a thorough understanding of the story. Okay, ladies? So again, I want you to make sure that you are, just want to make sure there's no other ones that I wanted to kind of go over here. Oh, I want to talk about that number 10. I'm going to zoom in on this number 10 here. Okay, so I want to show you what I wrote and then see if you agree, disagree. This one is kind of an opinion question. This is kind of what asking about what happens after the story. So there's really no right or wrong here, but kind of compare your answer to mine. So it says, read the sentence from the story below. Gregory thought the pen and paper were even better gifts than the house. Why might Gregory think that pen and paper are better gifts? So take a look here at my inference that I made. I said Gregory may think that because he made that connection. And then I give my inference, I talk about this connection, and then I really go into it here. So it says Conrad and him became close during the building, and once the house was built, he would say goodbye to Conrad. Gregory Gregory may move from the house one day, but could have that relationship with Conrad forever. So again, what you're doing here is you're kind of putting your own spin on it, okay? But there's no right or wrong answer here. You just have to make sure that you're kind of backing up. These details were in the text, and I used it to just kind of support about this connection that Gregory made with Conrad, okay? So again, I definitely want to kind of hear some of these responses at our next Zoom meeting for number 10, so please keep that in mind. All right, ladies, thank you.